Good morning, church family. This is Pastor Beasley sharing a word of encouragement and instruction with respect to the unique challenges that we find ourselves confronting at the moment. As God's people, we are never to forget that He is sovereign and He will bring glory to Himself through even the most difficult of circumstances. I love the verse in James chapter 1, verse 2, where we are told that we are to consider it joy when we encounter various trials, various testings. You may ask yourself, well, why would God even expect that of us? Well, it's because we understand that He causes all things to work together for our good, for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. That's found in Romans 8:28. So we find these great verses of Scriptures that remind us of God's greatness, His sovereignty, and His ability to use difficult circumstances to honor Himself. And I would say that even in this dark time, it would be our desire to be a light, be an example by our lives and our testimonies of just how good He is, of His grace. So with that in mind, let me share a little bit about, as I mentioned, about the game plan that we have going forward right now. Today is Tuesday, March 17th. I say that to you because I'm going to continue to bring updates and communicate with you over the next few weeks at least to give you information about our upcoming game plan and how we're going to address this COVID-19 virus. All right? Let me begin by saying we have been praying and seeking the Lord for several days now as a fresh word has come out regarding how we're to behave in this through this situation. Our government continues to give us an update on both the national and then on the state level. Then we have some local information that we gather as well. We've spoken directly with our Garland County Department of Emergency Services. We've also consulted with the Garland County Health Department. And after speaking with them, praying, and then having several hours together yesterday afternoon as a staff, we have arrived at some conclusions. We have contacted our board of directors to keep them informed about some of our decisions, but we want you to be informed. So let's take a few moments. If you will give me your attention, we'll get you up to date on what's happening here, okay? First of all, we plan to remain in contact with you on a weekly basis and provide, as I said, the necessary information for you to know what to expect about what's happening here at the church, what's going on with your staff, what we are trying to lead you to do, and what we expect and hope that you'll be involved in. However, we know that things could change where we have to be in contact with you more frequently than simply weekly. But we certainly plan to, at least on a weekly basis, evaluate things and try to communicate where that takes us. I think you're aware that I think it was the president who suggested now that we limit our gatherings to 10 or less. That's the most recent we've heard. And also that that would possibly go for as long as 8 weeks. Well, we're not going to try to cast our vision 8 weeks out at this moment. We're going to take it a week by week time at a time. And so if you'll stay in close contact with us, we'll try to keep you up to date, okay? Now, this week, March, I'm going to start on the 17th, which is today. It's a Tuesday, because I'm just now communicating with you. So this week, for the rest of this week, through the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd, we want you to know there will be no official on-campus gatherings from now through Sunday the 22nd. All right? No official on-campus gatherings from now through Sunday the 22nd. Now, if there are exceptions, you'll be contacted by a leader in that particular area, and your participation will be on a volunteer basis. Here's what I mean by this. Okay, we want to begin with the understanding that we're not calling meetings for the church to gather on, but we also know that there'll be things around the church or the property or things that need to be addressed from time to time over the next few weeks, where we're going to need some men or some women possibly to assist us in accomplishing something. And in that case, you will be contacted personally or individually. Your participation in that will be based on your own sense of well-being, you have every right to say, you know what, I don't feel good about participating in that, or I can't right now, or whatever. But there may be some needs there, and we will let you know about that. But nothing official, nothing for the entire church together around at this point. By the way, we will honor the guidelines of our government when we do have something like that, if we do have something like that. So we'll keep the group small, and we'll share the proper distance that we've been asked to do. Now, with that being said, your pastors will lead us in a prayer meeting this Wednesday, the 18th. That's tomorrow evening, and it'll begin at 6 o'clock. But your participation will be online, not here on campus. It will be an off-campus participation. We will be here. We will lead you. It'll be online. It'll be live. It's not going to be pre-recorded, and it'd be great if all of you could join us. It's interesting because essentially we're being pressed into doing some things that we've never done, but it's good for us to know how to do this because we don't know what the future holds. So we're going to learn how to do it. We're working on that. We're already experimenting with how that's going to look, and we're excited about the possibility of having a prayer meeting, having a bunch of people participate online, and it's live. Incidentally, we will give you instructions as part of this communication right now. We will give you some instructions on how you're to link up and how you participate in that. That'll be a little later on, okay? Also, if for some reason you can't join us, I would encourage you to have a prayer meeting at home with your family, whoever's there. And it'd be really neat if you could do it at the same time. Even if you can't participate with us online, let's make that a time for prayer, and a time for what's happening in our country, here in our own city, and in our own families and lives. So, also, I want you to be aware that even as I speak, as I'm talking to you right now, our pastors are working diligently on preparing visual recorded lessons for our Connections classes. That will be based on age groups. Our senior adults will have a recorded lesson for your Connection classes that will be led by Brother Mike. Our adults will have a similar study that will be led by Pastor Kevin. Our young adults will have a study recorded that will be offered by Brother Tad, and our young adults will be Brother Tad, and then our high school will be through Chad, who will also be preparing something for our parents. He and Elisa will be preparing some material so that you as parents can lead your own children in a study during that time. You don't have to do it on Sunday morning. It'll be prepared before then. You don't have to do it in the time slot. It's not live, it's recorded, but we really encourage you to keep that connection, keep that relationship, keep that smaller Bible study time going, and this will be an opportunity for you to do that. All right. Again, instructions will be provided here in just a moment on how to connect and get in touch with and be a part of that. All right, let's talk about Sunday, okay? As you already know, I've already mentioned it, but you've seen it, I'm sure, on the news. We have been asked not to meet in groups of greater than 10. We have concluded that really leaves us with no option but to use our online technology as our means for worshiping together. We would ask you to connect with us at 11 o'clock this coming Sunday morning, the 22nd, at 11 a.m. All right, mark that, 11 a.m., because this is going to be live. So to participate directly, you need to tune in, be a part of, connect at that time frame, within that time frame. Now, you can join us from your home by the internet, or anywhere you have internet access. You can connect to us. You'll use the link that we provide here in a moment. As a matter of fact, the simplest way, the single simplest way to connect through all this is to go to our website, hotspringsbaptist.org/COVID-19. All right, I'm going to repeat that. hotspringsbaptist.org/COVID-19. That will give you access to everything I've talked about, because there will be links provided under that heading that will enable you to connect with us and be a participant in everything we've talked about. So I hope you do that. Someone has asked the question about finances. How are we going to manage that? How's that going to work during all this? Well, the bills don't stop coming in. Obviously, we're being frugal. We're going to be careful about spending any money that we don't have to at this time, but there are fixed expenses. I think all of you are wise enough to understand that. So we do need for you to continue to listen to the Lord, do what He tells you to do, be obedient. He's always taken care of us. He's taken care of you. He's taken care of this church. So we don't expect anything to change there. But it's appropriate, we see in Scripture, that even Paul in his letters reminded some of those churches that they had committed to give. And he just simply reminded them, hey, don't forget your obligation there. So you can do that, by the way. Some of you have never tried it. This would be a great opportunity for you to try your online giving that's provided. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and I love it. It's very easy. I promise you, you'll be shocked if you haven't tried it, how easy that is. So you might investigate that. But if you prefer not to do it that way, you can send it in the mail, or you can drop it by here. Certainly, we're going to be keeping normal office hours, just for your information as well. However, don't be surprised when you come, even though it's the normal office hours, we will be keeping the building locked to ensure limited exposure. That's primarily for people we don't know or have any connection with that just wander in or come in off the street. And with the virus and everything out there, we want to kind of have some limitation to that. Doesn't mean that you won't be able to get in the building. What we're doing is on all the doors, we're putting a phone number, the phone number that you call and say, hey, I'm here, I need to get in the building, and we'll come and let you in. And you have complete access on that basis. Obviously, again, we're still going to observe the group gathering number issue that we've been challenged with, but you'll have access to the building. We're here, and we'll open the door, but the door will be locked. So you probably should know about that. By the way, you can also make a simple phone call for an appointment with one of the staff, or for any other reason or information you need. We're here. We're working. We're working on things that will help us do a better job in this strange. That's the only way I know to describe it. It's a very strange, almost apocalyptic setting that we find ourselves in. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of thinking Revelation. You know, the stuff going on in there, and I'm not convicted or convinced that we are at that moment, but we certainly are seeing some birth pangs or something that are strangely familiar with what we read about there. Unfamiliar territory for me. I got to confess to you, in my whole life I've never experienced anything like this, but I do believe that prayerfully, biblically, and with sound minds, as Paul shared with Timothy in 2 Timothy, where he told him that God's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound minds. That's what God promises us. And so as we move forward, I fully expect Him to get us through this like He's done everything else that we've ever been challenged with in our lives. And through it, He's going to receive the glory.